Hey Wonder Warriors, Teacher Cynthia. We are doing our own homemade spaghetti sauce today. So I want you guys to get your ingredients. We'll go through the list together and let's just check off what we have. For those of you, you can even write down the recipe. So 1 pound of ground beef, 16 ounces spaghetti. We're gonna have 3 tablespoons. So tablespoons are the large spoons. It'll either be a capital T or TBS for tablespoon. And if it's a small t, that is a teaspoon. And there are 3 teaspoons in 1 tablespoon. So if you don't have a tablespoon, you can measure out 3 teaspoons. All right, so we're gonna need 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Make sure you have your butter, cloves, of garlic. We're gonna have 6 of those. 1 6-ounce can of tomato paste. So these are those little cans, and this adds a lot of flavor. Some people like to caramelize the tomato paste, where you kind of cook it and brown it up a little bit so it is a little bit more robust of a flavor. We're gonna kind of do that a little bit today. Then we're gonna have our cans of sauce. A lot of people will just buy different pre-made spaghetti sauces, but this way you can change it to have the flavor that you like. And I've noticed over the years that they become more watery. They're not as good as they used to be, so I like to make my own. There's gonna be some water we're gonna add in. We need a little bit of pepper, Italian seasoning, basil, oregano, garlic or onion powder, some thyme, Worcestershire sauce. Can you guys say that? Worcestershire. Worcestershire. And red pepper is optional. I'm not going to add that. It's a little bit too kind of like spicy, but some people like that. And a cube of bouillon. This is kind of a secret ingredient. So these are just kind of like salt cubes that have a little beef flavor. So it's just a little splash of flavor. And then we're going to have balsamic vinegar. It's not the regular vinegar. So here you can see it's a little bit dark, well, a lot of it darker, but balsamic vinegar gives it a nice robust flavor. And then at the end, way at the end, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of grated Parmesan. You probably have some left over if you took the Alfredo class. And last but not least, just a little bit of extra butter to kind of enhance the flavor. So if you guys are ready to get started, I need you guys to get your tablespoons. And we're gonna start with our olive oil. And in our skillet or pan, you can either use like a frying pan or a skillet. This is what I got. I'm gonna put it on my stovetop burner. Make sure if you're working at the stove, it gets really hot, and use hot pads to hold on to this. Some people call them oven mitts or hot pads, but there are some pans that will heat up. So I definitely don't want you guys getting burnt. You're gonna turn it on to medium. So if you have all the way up to 10, you're gonna put it on 5. If it says MED, that means medium. So just whatever number you have, go to the middle of it. And for me, it's a 3, but this is a camping stove. All right, so now we need our extra virgin olive oil. Mine's a little bit different. That's the one thing that's nice about cooking. This is light tasting olive oil. But olive oil has a little different flavor than vegetable oil, coconut oil. There's so many different oils. So in the comments, I want to see how many oils you can name. All right, so we need 3 tablespoons. So get your large tablespoon. If you only have teaspoons, you're going to need 9. I have the large tablespoon. I'm going to fill it to the top 3 times. All right, and count with me as you do it. You can work alongside with me. So 1, take your time. 2, there we go. We got our 3 tablespoons. We're going to let that heat up just a little bit. always good to put the top back on. You can kind of clean as you go. All right, so that's heating up, and I'm going to, as you guys are measuring, I'm going to grab my hot pads. Some people like to saute some onions, cut up onions. My dad liked to add green peppers. Some people add mushrooms. There's different things you can do, even maybe little pieces of spinach or broccoli in there. But we're going to do the basic spaghetti. All right, so this is starting to cook up. We need 1 pound of ground beef, and we just add it into our oil. Just take your time, unwrap it. If you have the flat packs, make sure there's like a pad underneath. That's to collect up any juices. So don't put the pad in there. Just go ahead and take the meat out. If the pad goes with it, just remove the pad and throw that out. All right, so now you're going to need a spoon or a spatula. We're just going to kind of break this down just a little bit so it's easier to cook. There we go. Just kind of mush it up into little pieces so it'll cook a little easier. And I'll show you what mine looks like in just a minute. So feel free to go along and do this with me. If you need to pause the video, feel free to pause, come back, or rewind. And let me show you what it's looking like so far. There you go. Just got it in there. And it takes a little bit of time for it to start browning. So as we are waiting for that to brown, I want to make sure you guys have your, you can call it a colander or a strainer. I'd like to know what you guys call it. Depends on where you're from. But colander or strainer, we're going to use this. I like to put mine as I'm draining it, because there's not going to be that much oil left over. But I like to put it in here. Helps drain it. Some people will save the leftover oil. It's called tallow, beef tallow. Some people like to fry French fries in it. But you're going to drain off any of the juices. If you want to save the fat, you can put it in a tin coffee pot. Make sure it's tin so it doesn't melt in case it's still hot. But definitely don't just drain it down the sink, even if you have a garbage disposal, because that'll clog your pipes. So make sure you have your colander, and you can put it into a bowl. And then we'll just throw the bowl oils out or save the oil. Okay? All right, so this is starting to cook a little bit. Maybe break it down just a little bit more. All right, so that's going to take just a few minutes. As we are waiting for that to cook, we're going to take our tomato sauce. First, I want to make sure if you have not minced your garlic, go ahead and do that as well. So minced means to chop into little tiny pieces. Mine's already minced into little pieces. So it's okay to use the jarred garlic, or you can use cloves of garlic. If you are using the cloves, it will give it a little bit more authentic taste. So this is cooking, and while we are waiting for that to brown, we're going to open these up. Be real careful. The edges will be sharp. So it's always good when you're trying to lift them to use a spoon to lift it up. All right, so if you have an electric can opener, you're luckier than I am. But we're just going to open these up and set them aside. All right, so we're going to do these, and then, whoops. All right, so mine fell off. A lot of times it stays. I'm going to be real careful picking it up, because this can slice through you. So be really careful with that. It's always good to put that back, once we drain this, back into the can. It kind of helps prevent any cuts that might happen. All right, so I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to open the next one, our our ground beef is starting to brown up. We have our next can that we are opening. And with this, a lot of times you don't even need to open it, really, because the juice flows out. All right, there we go. And I just leave a little tab so it won't fall onto the floor. And like I said, if you need to pause, you can do that. Here is our tomato paste. It's so cute. And depending on how you like it, you can even add a whole extra can of tomato paste if you like it really thick. There's different preferences that people have. All right, so don't want to use your fingers to lift that up. We're going to use a spoon to just lift it up. I'm going to keep the spoon in there for now. All right, so my ground beef is looking like this. If yours is looking like that too, just be careful. The oil is extremely hot. So just kind of stir it up a little bit, kind of tap it down. And it's a good idea, I'm holding the phone, but it's a good idea to hold your pan. And you want to do that so it does not slip away and burn you. So when you're cooking, you have to really pay attention to safety. So take your hot pad, hold on to it, and then stir it. You guys see what I'm doing? I'll do it this way. I'm right-handed, so it's a little hard. But hold on to it and then stir. That way you have control over the pan. All right, so our next step, keep letting this brown. And our next step that we're going to need is I want you guys to grab your butter and onion. We're not going to add it yet. All right, so we got to wait for this to finish browning. It's getting there. Take your time with it. It's going to be so good. You guys are going to have to tell me if you like this better than Ragu or Prego. I like it better than store-bought. And that way you can make as much as you want or as little as you want. Also, I'd like to know, do you guys like to put your sauce on top of your spaghetti noodles, or do you like to mix it in? Another thing you can do is make baked spaghetti. And all you do is when you're all done with this, you put it all in the same like casserole dish, a 13 by 9 pan. And you can sprinkle maybe some mozzarella cheese on top of it. Cheddar is okay too. Cheese is always good. So I'd like to know if you guys have ever tried it baked spaghetti. There, all you have to do is put it in the oven at around 375 for about a half hour, or maybe 35-40 minutes if you like it a little crispier. But today we're making it without baking it, but you can easily bake it, which has the nice cheese on top. So stir it just a little bit more. Make sure all the pink is going to go away. It's getting there. And this is going to smell so good in just a few minutes. So in the comments, I'm curious what other foods that you have cooked. I know a lot of my students, they've never cooked anything. So this is actually kind of an intermediate type class, but it's still something that beginners can do. So no matter what your level is, sometimes critiquing recipes and adding your own variations. Like I said, sometimes I'll actually put in some onions and kind of brown those, or like my father added the green peppers. I like to add mushrooms. When I was a little kid, I did not like mushrooms. I know some people, my best friend growing up, her grandmother would add black olives. I do not like those. But if you could pick around those black olives, she made the best spaghetti. It was really good. It was different though. It wasn't our traditional red sauce that we're used to. It's almost like like a liquid. I don't even know how to describe it. It was so good. But they called it baked spaghetti, but it's just her recipe. All right, so this is getting brown. Make sure you have your hot pads. A few more minutes. Somebody had told me about making, what was it? What do they call it? Spaghetti lasagna or spaghetti pizza? I think it's spaghetti pizza, where you put the spaghetti down and then you put like pizza toppings on top of it. That's something we could try if you would like. Or if you even have leftover spaghetti after tonight's dinner. You can experiment, put it in a small pan, put the spaghetti down and then add on different toppings. Like you'd start with your mozzarella cheese and add on your pepperoni or sausage, and you can bake that. So I haven't made that yet. We could do it together. We'll have to see. So you should make sure your garlic is minced. That's the next thing we're going to do. And if you have jarred garlic, make sure you have a measuring teaspoon for it. And so in the recipe, it calls for 6 to 8 cloves of garlic. So depending on how much garlic you like, you can do 4 to 6. So you can do about half the garlic or 3/4 the garlic, or go for it and do all of it. I think 4 to 6 cloves. 4 would probably be what I would add. Some people like it more garlicky. So that's one thing about recipes, are as you go along, you can change to be what it is that you like. So I know there's some like casseroles that we might do. And let's say you don't like broccoli. You can either skip the broccoli, or you can add cauliflower instead, maybe some carrots. You guys are always free to email me, ask any questions ahead of time, and I can give you some advice. Those are called substitutions, where we switch it out for something. Sometimes you can't substitute, but did you know you can even substitute eggs when you're cooking? I had to do that. I needed 3 eggs. I only had 1. One of the substitutes I used was, I believe it was a 1/4 cup of applesauce. And then the other one, I'll have to look it up because it was a crazy substitution. It was like baking powder and oil. I don't even remember. I'll have to tell you what it was. But there are times if you think, I can't make this, I don't have the ingredient, we can do some research together and find substitutions that'll make you still be able to cook some of your favorite foods. All right, so here we go, guys. Not 100% cooked, and the thing is, we want definite food safety. So here you can see there's a little bit of pink here on mine, and over in here a little bit of pink. We definitely want to cook all that pink out. So I'm going to kind of squish it down into that hot oil. There's a lot of times just a piece or two that likes to be stubborn. All right, so now it's getting rid of all that pink. I think we're looking pretty good. When you're dealing with hot oil, it cooks up quick. And let me take you over to the sink, where we're going to strain it or drain it, however you want to call it. Let me raise you up. All right, guys. Make sure you put this securely in the sink. Use your hot pads. All right, and slowly pour it away from you. That way it doesn't splash. And then you're going to kind of shake out the extra oil. Put this back into the pan. with both hands. Like I said, if you need to stop this, you can go ahead and stop it and move your pan back to your stovetop. We're going to put that on top. So now, let me double check. It's always good to look at your recipe. All right, we're going to go ahead and do it now. We're going to add our 2 tablespoons of butter. I want to show you something. So what's nice when you buy butter is they have it where, I got to get butter in there real quick, where it's marked off 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. So if I cut right here and take this chunk, I have 2 tablespoons of butter. Butter is good to use compared to like margarine, because butter is like 100% fat. If you are using margarine, it's anywhere from like 45 to 70, sometimes a little higher, but 60 to 70% of it is oil and the rest is water. So it throws off the way it cooks down. So there you can see that is cooking down. The butter's starting to melt. I'm going to give it a nice little stir. Bring you guys, yeah, you guys can, there we go. All right, so I'm going to give it a nice little stir so that butter goes all around. And now you can add in your cloves of garlic. So for me, I would do about 4 cloves. But you can do 6 to 8 if you like garlic. There we go. All right. And give that a nice little stir. We're going to cook that for about 2 minutes. I noticed one thing on my, I forgot to write down onions. If you guys have an onion that you chopped, go ahead and add that now. Let me grab that. So for an onion, that's my fault. I got to correct that. It was left off. All right, we're going to use about half an onion. If you do not have an onion, that is okay. You're just going to take off the end. Hold on to your knife this way. It's okay to ask for help with a grown-up to kind of make sure. You're going to want to bear claw the onion to make sure. You don't want your fingers like this. It's too easy to get cut. And bear claw, I like to dig my nails into it. I'm going to cut it in half. And then peel off the outer layer. See how I'm just taking the outer layer? Sorry I didn't write down onion. If you don't have it, that's okay. You can add it on the next time you make it. That's my fault. Or you can add onion powder. All right, so there we go. I should be able to add that onto the PDF for you guys by the time you get your class. All right, so I'm taking out the outer ridge. We have this, so we're just going to chop it into little pieces. Just remember to bear claw it. And then just little tiny pieces. Take your time, don't do too much at once. Safety first. We're cutting that down. All right. So you can use half an onion I'm going to go ahead and add this in so it starts cooking down. And then cut up the other half. Remember to bear claw, dig your nails in to kind of hold it into place. And definitely take your time. I'm probably going faster than you are. That's okay. Like I said, you can pause the video, catch up. Main thing is keeping those fingers safe. So sometimes if you want to do one little piece at a time, that's okay too. Just definitely keep your fingers safe. There are different types of onions. I like to use the sweet onions when I'm cooking. They just have a really good flavor. If you don't like onions, you don't have to add these. I'm going to put these in. So this makes it a little bit more gourmet. There we go. We're stirring it down, cooking it in. This takes a few minutes to cook. We want to soften it. As we're letting that cook down, go ahead and get your bouillon cube. We're going to open it just so it's ready. They're a little difficult to open sometimes, but I feel like it's Christmas where you get to add. There you go. We're going to open it up. Let's see. That one looks like it got a little wet. I'm not sure. Let me double check. Okay, yeah, mine are just darker. They're just darker. All right, so stir it in. There we go. Cooking it down. All right. Getting ready, guys. You getting hungry? So as we're doing that, why don't we go ahead and turn on our water for our noodles. So about 1/2 to 3/4 full if you have a large pan. We're going to put it on high. And the reason we want to boil our water first to where you start seeing some bubbles coming up is if we put our noodles in too soon before the water gets hot, it can cause the noodles to stick together, to make big clumps. Also, the water can get real starchy and change the flavor of your spaghetti. So it's always wise to preheat your water. You'll start seeing a few bubbles coming up. And the other thing too that we can do, let's do this right now. If you add a little bit of salt to your boiling water, it helps lower the cooking temperature. So just a couple shakes of salt and it will have the water boiling a little bit quicker. Also adds a little bit of flavor to the noodles. It's a win-win situation. All right, so those onions are starting to cook down. Are you starting to smell it? Is it starting to smell good? All right, so we want to cook this a little bit longer. I don't like crunchy onions in my spaghetti. I like them a little bit softer. So just take the time. There are times we want to rush through things. And I know I have a friend named Debbie. And she's really given me good advice on just telling me to wait and take the time. It can make a huge difference on how flavorful it is and how professional it tastes. So you guys are learning. I might as well learn the right way so you can keep building on your skills. And I am not using my hot pad because I know mine doesn't get hot. But there are pans that I own that do get hot. So since you're new to cooking, go ahead and always use a hot pad. Definitely you can ask your grown-up at home, are there any pots and pans that you really have to watch out for? But I definitely don't want you getting hurt. So as we have that beef tallow that we drained off of our ground beef, you can go ahead and remove that, put it on the counter, wait till it solidifies. Solidify means get hard. You can scoop that out. It'll be almost like a butter. And then you can melt it down. I know some people will save bacon grease. They like to cook eggs in there for the extra flavor. But beef tallow, like I said, people like that sometimes with their potatoes. So ask your grown-up if they want you to save it. And there's, you know, people in the olden days would try to be extremely resourceful. And I give them a lot of credit. A lot of times we waste a lot of things that we can use again. So the economy is a little bit crazy. Might be a wise idea to save some of the called byproducts, and we can use them again. All right. I'm getting hungry, guys. All right, so now this is browning. If yours is not quite ready, you can pause the video. I think why don't we give it about 2 more minutes. I think we should give about 2 more minutes. But the fun thing about cooking is you can learn about different recipes from all over the world. If you guys are willing to share, let me know what country your ancestors are from, and I can try to do some of the top favorite recipes from the country that your family's from. I'm doing some Dutch food, which I'll do in the international class. I also want to do crepes, which I love crepes. They're like really thin pancakes, but sometimes you can add all different kinds of fillings. You can do like chocolate or fruits or creams or even sandwiches like ham and cheese. There's all different kinds of things you can do. It's just a real thin layer, but it tastes different than pancakes, but it's real close. Pancake mix is kind of cool. You can make crepes. If you change the recipe just a little bit, if you change it a little bit the other way, you can make waffles. There's also something called Belgian waffles, which are fluffier. And sometimes it's just that little tiny difference can make a big difference in the outcome of how the food turns out. So for me, I like strawberry and whipped cream with my crepes. So today I added on the dessert class. There's going to be several to choose from, but I'm also adding on the breakfast buddies and a crock pot class. So the crock pot class is for people where maybe you can't log in until just early in the morning, and this way you can have dinner ready later when your parents come home from work. Everything will be ready. Also, there are certain recipes where it takes hours, and the slower you cook it, the more tender the meat or potatoes are, the more full the flavors get. So I thought it would be a good idea to do a crock pot class too. Crock pots are great. They cook up. You just add everything in there. So we're going to do some food preparation, and then you just let it sit all day long, and it's ready for you when you get home from work or from school. So my meat mixture is looking about ready for the next step. So stir this one more time. My water is boiling, so as that's cooking for 2 more seconds, see how I have a full, well, it's not a full boil. It's just little tiny dots starting to come up. So I'm going to go ahead and add my noodles now. Alright, so for me, I have a 2-pound box. So I only need 16 ounces. There are 16 ounces in a pound. But I have 32 ounces, so I only need half of the box. If I use this whole box, that is way too much noodles. Way too many. So just use about half the box. You can either ask a grown-up to help with half, or you can set it aside on the counter and take out half of it. I've been doing this a long time, so I kind of know what it is. But only use half the box if it says 2 pounds. If it says 1 pound, use the whole box. You're going to take a chunk, probably about half for you. Probably a good idea to start with half. And then you're going to push it away from you. Whoops! I had too much stuff in my hand. Alright, so you take it, grab it, and then I push my thumbs right there to help break it. Be very careful that it doesn't splash you. I have a broken stove. That's my favorite burner. See, I made a mess. It's okay, even grown-ups make messes. My stove gets way too hot. So I have to adjust it. I kind of have it half on, half off. And take your time. Like I said, I had those 2 bundles in my hand. That's when accidents or messes happen. So I should have put it back in the box and done the little one. Alright, so after you get that in there, make sure you stir it. Give it a nice little stir. You can turn your heat down to about medium. It'll still boil. Alright, so right now I want you guys to take your box and look at the instructions. Mine says about 9 to 11 minutes. Usually 10 minutes for spaghetti noodles is perfect. So for right now, I will set the alarm. We have Mr. Moo, our helper. Mr. Moo, on these type, what you do is you have it lined up to 0, and then you're going to go past the number you want, way past it, and then go back to the 10. And that's set for 10 minutes. You guys can also use the timer on your microwave, and you can also have like a cell phone with the timer. Alright, so now what we got to do, guys, let me get my handy dandy recipe. You can follow along with me. One thing I want to encourage you guys to do, print out the PDFs that I'm giving you. That way you can save it in a folder, make your own cookbook, and save it for years to come. You can even hand it down to your future children or grandchildren or nieces or nephews. It's just really good to keep in the family. Okay, so now we have our garlic. We're going to add our tomato paste. That is this. It's a little bit more pasty. And go ahead and just put that in. Scoop it all out. And to be extra safe, I use my spoon to close this. And then I throw it out. And take my spoon, stir this in. And by doing this, we're kind of caramelizing the tomato paste. Kind of breaks down the acidic taste. Tomatoes have acid in them. And if we don't brown it down and simmer it, it'll kind of have like a zing kind of flavor to it. We just want it nice and tomatoey. Just stir it around. We are almost done. All right, so we needed our bouillon cube. We're going to add that. Just go ahead and drop that in. Put your 2 cans of tomato sauce. There we go. Stir that in. Kind of mixing it up nice and good. Alright, it should look like this. I'm going to go over and stir my noodles one more time. Looking good. And you guys should probably be able to do that all at the same area. But this is easier to cook and show you. Alright, I'm going to stir this one more time. Now to measure out our seasonings. Alright, a teaspoon of pepper. I forget my pepper. Let me grab my pepper, guys. So a teaspoon is the small spoon. It'll say TSP with the number 1. A little hard to see, but it has a 1 TSP. You can either spoon it out or shake it. I'm just going to give it a couple shakes, probably about 10 shakes for me, well, 15 shakes. Make sure you stir this. It's going to start to splatter a little bit. So I'm going to turn mine down to number 2. If you were on number 5, go down to number 3. Alright, so stir that in. We're kind of simmering it. We have our pepper. The next thing we want to add is our Italian seasoning. Got lots of different seasonings in this one. Alright, so we have our Italian seasoning. We just need 2 teaspoons of it. So 2 teaspoons. 1, 2. And then, like I said, if you need to pause to measure, it's okay to take your time. Then we're going to need our basil. That's how you pronounce it, basil. I actually had a friend, that was his name. His name was Basil. So stir this in. If you need to lower your temperature a little bit more, down to a 1 or a 2, you can do that. Starting to smell good. So for the basil, 1 teaspoon of basil. Then we're going to want our oregano. Whoops, I'm making a mess, guys. We have our oregano is how we pronounce it. It's not oregano, it's oregano. Alright, so this is a brand new one. I finally got it. I have been out of oregano for a little bit of time. Alright, so for our oregano, 1 teaspoon, one of the small spoons. And if a little spills over, just don't fill your teaspoon up all the way. I'm going to put the shaker top back on. I'm going to stir that down. That way that bouillon cube can dissolve, break down. There we go. All right, then we need a half teaspoon of garlic. If you used a lot of garlic already, you can skip that or add onion. I'm gonna add a little bit of onion instead of extra garlic. So if you have some, that one's garlic. If you have onion powder, you can do a little bit of that. Just a half teaspoon, just a little bit. Definitely don't want to overpower it. Okay. Just a little, I'm only using half. So a half teaspoon is a 1 over the 2. I'm just going to add just a little, oops. Just a little bit of that. And now, extra flavor, our Worcestershire sauce. Let me grab that real quick. Alright, we have our Worcestershire sauce. And for that, we just need 1 teaspoon. What do you guys think about how it smells? It will add quite a bit of flavor though. Alright, 1 teaspoon. Not too much, guys. Just a little flavor. And then our noodles are done. 1 teaspoon of balsamic vinegar. There we go. That kind of balances the flavor out a little bit. Alright, so Mr. Moo is telling us that our noodles are done. So now what I want you to do, oops, make sure that your sauce is on a low simmer, like a 1 or a 2 for right now. Let's go over to our noodles. These should be done. They're looking good to me. But what you can do is take a fork, just kind of scoop out some. Make sure they cool off. Just kind of hold them up in the air for a little bit. You can blow on them. And carefully, they're going to be hot. You can taste it. See if it's soft enough for how you like. I think it's good. I'm going to turn off my oven. I got to remember that this is going to be hot. I remove this from the heat. I'm going to leave it in the water for right now. Now we go back over to our sauce. We are simmering it, which means slow cooking it. So what I want you guys to do is you are going to keep it at like a 1 or a 2 for about, another 15-20 minutes to let it slowly cook in. So if you guys have a timer, I want you guys to go ahead and set that and come back in 15 minutes. If you do not, this will still turn out, it turns out better if you take the 15 minutes to simmer it. But if you do not have a timer or you just want to eat dinner now, we can do it this way too. So I'm going to give you the rest of the recipe and then show you how to put together your plate of spaghetti. So my suggestion, pause the video, set your timer for 15 minutes, come back and finish the rest of the directions, or you can continue watching or continue cooking with me now, and that's okay too. All right, so the last things we need, we are going to take a little bit of Parmesan, not too much of it. I'm just going to add just a little bit, 2 tablespoons. So this is fresh Parmesan. You can also use like the shaker kind. That's okay too. There we go. And let's take a peek at it. The reason I want you guys to simmer it is to make sure that that bouillon cube is dissolved, which means broken down. You don't want somebody to get a big taste of salt. You can kind of peek to see if it's dissolving down for you. Looks like mine's dissolved. There we go. And it's good to let that simmer. It'll be a little bit more robust of a flavor and not quite so bitter. All right. Now, I'm still cooking the sauce. Make sure you have your hot pads. If you need a grown-up to help you, please ask for their help. It's much better to ask for help than to get burnt. So take your hot pads, hold your pan with both hands, 1 hot pad, 2 hot pads, or you can call them oven mitts. And then we're going to slowly, we're going to pour away from our body. Oops. All right, so we have our colander, also known as a strainer. We got our noodles. There we go. Our noodles are nice and drained. And then let's put this together. Let's see what this is going to look like. All right. So to put this together, some people will take the sauce, put all of the sauce into the noodles, or you can do like a lot of restaurants do. You can take your spaghetti noodles, gotta rinse that off, and then you can top it with your sauce. There you go. You guys just made homemade spaghetti sauce, fresh from scratch. Make sure that you turn off the stove. And let's do a little taste test together. Are you ready? What do you think? Let's try it, guys. That's so good. I love it. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Enjoy.